Zach says, how does the MNAV actually work? The multiplier, it's basically like, the way to look at the multiplier is if you had $100,000. We kind of did this the other day. Somebody said that my numbers were wrong, but it'll still give you a good idea of what's going on here. So let's use, I'm going to move this part because this was the updated version, but I don't know if the numbers are correct. So I'm going to use the numbers that were at the last MicroStrategy quarterly report or quarterly presentation that they did. Somebody said that the premium was only 3.5, but I don't know what numbers they were using for that. So let's look at this. This is the premium on MicroStrategy shares. So at the time, when they did their last presentation, MicroStrategy had 252,000 Bitcoin. And at the same time, they're diluted shares, which means that the actual share amount plus the conversion, the people who own convertible debt, they include their shares as if they're going to convert those into shares, convert the debt into shares. So this was their diluted shares, 235 million shares, which is 0.1%. So in other words, if you got 95,000 bucks, this was last week, or earlier this week, you could buy one Bitcoin. For the same $95,000, you could buy 195 shares in MicroStrategy. So if we said that one share based on this calculation here is 0.1% of a Bitcoin, not 1%, but 0.1% of a Bitcoin, which is 100,000 sats approximately. So if you own one share in MicroStrategy, you own basically 1,000 sats worth of Bitcoin, 100,000 sats. And so if you have 195 shares in MicroStrategy, you have 0.2 of a Bitcoin or 21 million sats. So in other words, with that same $95,000 that you could buy one Bitcoin with, if you're going the MicroStrategy route instead, you only get 0.2 of a Bitcoin for the same $95,000 there. So in this case, this is the numbers that I used. Somebody said that they were wrong, so don't trust these fully. But using these numbers, this is the multiplier that you get there, the premium, which is 5x. Right? Because it's 20% of a Bitcoin, so 5x. If this was 50% of a Bitcoin, it would be 2x. So that's kind of the premium there. And again, some of those numbers may be wrong, but that was the numbers that they used on their last MicroStrategy presentation. And since then, they've bought 80,000 Bitcoin. And that was like 2 weeks ago. So they bought 27,000, I think, and then 51,000 Bitcoin since then.